Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Upsurge. Now, we've had a bit of a rebrand, but the league is still the same faces, same teams, and oh my god, is that Chief Guest? Professional player and Wikipedia page owner. Well, it is a wonderful joy to see you here today, and a pleasure to be casting with you. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Now, I wouldn't go quite as far to say a pro player. I'm more like hard stuck, perpetual plat. That's what we're calling myself, a perpetual plat. So, you know, if any P1 team or T1 teams want to pick me up, I mean, I'll bottom frag. So there's that.
I've added, I think it was Parabellum, and I've said, yeah, hit me up. Wait, no, it was TSM, actually. Because, Chief, me and Achieved are actually one day apart on our birthday, and we're basically clones, so you mean...
Oh, it makes you the same person.
Just get me in, fly me over. I'm already in the UK, so Paris isn't too far away.
You just need the Achieved Matt beard. That's what you need.
I can't grow a beard. That's the biggest
problem. Oh, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, not a TSM problem. They'll sign me up. Anyway, we have a great day set up for you, don't we, Chief? Some incredible games, and I think the second one, that's the one that's really going to be the meat and bones of the evening.
Unfortunately, our first series of the day, I think it's going to be a little one-sided. One of these rosters is considered one of the best amateur teams, you know, sitting at that upper echelon of T3. That's Team Mystic. And on the other end of the coin, Dallas Vendetta, they have been struggling. And I believe actually some of their players have departed their roster. I know Aquino just put on Twitter like an hour ago that he joined a brand new roster. I don't recognize the name of the roster, but I know that they had a lion as their logo. And I think he's joining teams with Panic, Genesis, and Jewel from the original iteration of Dallas Vendetta when they're known as First Attempts all on that roster. So it's nice to see, you know, players getting new homes, but I think the chances of Dallas Vendetta moving forward, at least with some of their players, are going to be a little bit rocky.
Well, I mean, you know, a 4v5, never say never, but it is a little rough, and especially when you're going up against players like Team Mystic, Silent, Asian, Kicks, Gunner, and Eddie. Well, the names speak for themselves, mainly. These players are just incredible. Their mechanical ability, their competitive knowledge, it really, like you said, puts them at the top of that T3 set. And, well, a 4 versus 5, if that is what we're going to see, we might see a sub. Probably will, let's be honest. But you've got to look at this, and immediately, you're looking at Dallas Vendetta on the back foot, aren't you?
So it seems like Aquino is playing. So I don't know if this is one of the pre-recorded videos or if he hasn't yet officially departed from Dallas Vendetta. So this is a live match. So I'm just guessing that he still has his contract or his obligation with Dallas Vendetta, and he's then going to, you know, move over to his new home. So I wonder what that means for the Dallas Vendetta strategy. Oh, no.
I respect it.
Speaking of the Dallas Vendetta strategy, the last time we saw them on Cafe... it wasn't a brilliant showing.
I mean, I've seen them there before, and they've had good moments, but it's been quite shaky, most importantly.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are really good elements, flashes of brilliance, but you need to be a lot more consistent. Team Mystic, they're going to give you no quarter. They want to win. They're going to do everything they can to win, just like in all the other leagues that they play. So you've really got to have the basics knuckled down here. You got to think, okay, well, you got to have that game plan. You're on the defense. This is the big opportunity for you, so you need to set the pace. That's what CAF is all about. The defenders, as soon as they pull back, that's when the attackers get a foot in. You set the pace. You need to be able to dictate how the game is going to play out. If you let Mystic get any kind of foothold and allow them to kind of say, okay, we're going to push this area, we're going to take this map control, that's when you're going to start slipping through the cracks.
You know, just ban Ashe. Easy peasy. Or just ban the red dot site, and then Mystic will not be able to play the game at all. They'll have to just run iron sites at this point, because we all know that the former aggro roster love the red dots.
I've been there before, and I can safely say that you if you ban out an Ashe, you're banning it because of the player, not the operator. And the simplest solution is you pick Zafir instead, Chief. I've been in that situation. You wouldn't actually believe me, but I've been target banned
You
with
a
an Ashe ban.
gunner?
Shockingly enough, I know, but Uni Siege in UK just is something else. And
Freelo.
I was playing a mate of mine actually, and yeah, I had a reputation on the Ashe, so they banned out the Zafir, they banned out the Ashe, and I just picked Zafir and won. So an Ashe ban, I don't know. I mean, maybe.
No, honestly, just run IQ, run the G8. Back when it had the ACOG
Yeah,
on it, dude, it was the most broken weapon in the game. I mean, it's still pretty broken. And if you want G8 ACOG, you know, there is an Amaru in game, and she has both those elements, and she can fly into a window, pocket hard breach charge, Gone 6, SMG 11. Basically, what I'm telling you is Amaru is the best operator to have ever touched this game, other than Warden. And you should be running Amaru every time. Pardon?
This is why we're casting. Now, the map bans as we do get into the game, Dallas Vendetta, they're going to start things off, and, well, they might go for this Ashe ban, but no, they're going to go for that Maverick, and I'll tell you exactly why. Now, Thatcher can open everything up very easily, but when you think about that bottom floor, most importantly, with a Thatcher, you can have that utility drain. Think about a bakery hold. You can just sit Wamais and ADSs. There's only 3 EMPs, or you force the vertical play. A Maverick just can't walk up. And it makes a lot of holds a lot safer for the defenders, actually. Because you look at a bakery and, well, if they try and push in up to the prep wall, well, then the Maverick could just open up prep. Suddenly your bakery player is already isolated and essentially dead. Thatcher being taken off the board as well, that utility isn't going to matter. This means the defenders are going to be able to bunker in so much easier and just make life harder for Team Mystic. This is what I meant when I said the defenders, they set the pace. Now their roamers have a lot more power. Their setup on site is a lot more influential in how the round plays out. And, well, Mystic banning out the Valkyrie doesn't really surprise me at all.
All about information. Again, we talk about how oppressive Cafe can be. It's always about how you gather that information, whether or not it's from a Valkyrie camera, from Maestro camera, or the traditional way, and what has started Mira to be the most banned operator. I say it started, but she's been banned constantly ever since pick and ban has been introduced into competitive. And it all started here on Cafe because, as you were alluding to earlier, McCready, you want to push in through piano. And if there is somebody gathering information, it just becomes impossible. Now, what I want to see Mystic do is push from underneath. So if we're going upstairs to bar, they do a reading room execute. Now, we're not going to see bar as our first bomb site. We're actually going to see kitchen as our first bomb site, but the principle actually still stands. We need to see Mystic take from that third floor and work their way down. Now, we have seen teams make linear executes work, and if anyone's going to be able to have that happen, that's going to be Mystic due to their pure coordination, their synergy, and that mechanical skill.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely the case. And you're looking at the lineup of the attackers, it makes a lot of sense that Nomad's there. You shut down the roamers, you got the ace, you got that ranged hard breach. You don't have to get up close and personal, but with that Thatcher ban, you have to deal with utility. This Cade has a very, very important role, and that is to force attackers into vertical play or into choke play. So looking at this site, simply put, I'm approaching it with two kind of perspectives. A top-down take and a bakery or freezer take. Either way, vertical play is important. You need to get these claws, and you need to push through, or you go into a choke point. It's simple as that. The top floor, that's when the roamers really start to play, and hashtag and reactive, that's when you're really going to try and just slow the pace of Mystic. You go on the top floor, you shoot a couple of drones, you maybe find a couple of kills, and you just pull down. It's that stage roam you love to talk about, Chief, where you make sure they know they have to roam clear you. They can't start that vertical play, they can't open these walls, they can't get into sight and use those Selma charges. That's what this is all about on Kaf Dostoyevsky. It's keeping them at the very, very top, and Kix is going to give himself a nice little entry. Reactive getting taken away with a failed spawn peek, I think is what we're going to call it, just to... We're not going to say him, he's not checking his angles. Reactive tried to get a kill, wasn't going to happen. Team Mystic check their corners and will begin their roam clear.
Honestly, that was a desperate gunfight to take. I mean, again, that spawn peak is very basic. Even the one from the window above, there are ways of doing it where you're at least safe when you challenge it. It's more common, but still, it provides you as a defender taking that aggressive fight a little bit more coverage. But when you're proning in a door frame, I mean, if you miss or you're seen, you're just dead. There's no way for you to stand up and run away. And now Dallas Vendetta, their whole macro strategy of sitting upstairs and roaming, wasting time, I mean, they're not going to be very successful in that because one of their best roamers got slaughtered for absolutely free. And Dallas Vendetta has recalled the majority of their troops. They're now all on that second floor, and the majority of them are already starting to leave for that first floor without receiving any pressure whatsoever. Team Mystic, their offense is a little bit slow. They're just doing their due diligence, making sure nobody from Dallas Vendetta is still on that third floor, but now they do have that control of that second floor.
Yes, and the Sledge still being alive and having that player advantage, it's a lot to work with. They're not feeling the pressure. They're not worried. Simply put, they get in, they let the Sledge of Eddie do his work, do his job. Just rip everything up. That hatch is already open, so if you are Asian, life is so much easier. A C4 will go out and it will not find any damage, and most importantly, it keeps Mystic alive, and they don't have to worry so much. Another C4 of hashtag is gone. Only one left at the point of Aquino, but they still have 4 players alive. Fiction of Barrel starts to spring to mind as Asian's able to find a second kill, and hashtag will be taken away. Aquino will put C4 out, won't find a single target, and Mystic, they're looking pretty damn good for a push. That red dot, like you said on Asian, really helping out. The name of the game now for Dallas Vendetta is to be able to stop this push and keep this vertical play in mind. Mystic have a lot of players. They can keep a player holding above. But what about Smackdown? Holding with that shotgun. Eddie's going to get taken away, but Kicks and Gunner answer with a couple of kills. Gunner doesn't spot that player, but Kicks is just going to shut everything down. Aquino got Gunner, but, well, just paid for it, I think is the way we can describe it. A strong round from Team Mystic, but Dallas Vendetta, there's got to be a little bit more to it.
We started off by calling that spawn peak desperate, but was really desperate about that round for Dallas Vendetta was their on-site defense. We saw 2 defenders holding not in Java itself, but in the Java double door. So that's right next to where Whiskey Long is, where Kochek, that one little hallway there. And why that becomes a problem is because those 2 defenders are stuck in no man's land. First off, they can't challenge the window of Meat Locker, the door frame of Meat Locker, and more crucially, they're stuck to any gunfights that take place from Whiskey or Coat. What happens? One of those players rotates over to the bomb chassis, which was actually a good read. You want to have that shotgun in that CQC scenario. But the other one just stood in that middle of the corridor and got absolutely fried. They didn't accomplish any of their goals. So now when you're in that position moving forward, you have to say, all right, it's a 3v5. We have hardly any man advantage. It's so far away from us. We have to make a play now. So instead of just standing out there waiting to be shot, you have them swing Whiskey or you have them swing that breach, because at least that way you're going to try to stall an additional 5 seconds of time. And if you get that kill, well, now that defense is going to be a little bit more comfortable because the offense won't be able to have that full coverage on that bomb site. Again, Dallas Vendetta, they started off the round being hyper aggressive, and when they needed to be aggressive, their aggression was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, like you said, they just waited, and then the swings came out from Mystic and shut them down. Now, I'd say you want to measure it a lot more. You want to have the player in Fiat and Pixel maybe a bit more aggressive, maybe have a Goyo Shield and Freezer, have some footholds, maybe buy an Overeenie maybe. That's something I've seen in a player in Bathroom, and God, it's scary sometimes. Now, it doesn't seem like that's the case this time, but it's a setup that I really find a lot of merit behind, because you look at it and you have to push in to deal with Pixel. But if you push in, then you expose yourself to that player in Freezer, and the Pixel player, or that player in Bathroom, depending on how your team prefer to set it up, doesn't really matter, they can just sit pretty, they can hold the angle into the door, while the piano stage is covered by that Freezer. Now, anyway, I digress, because that's not what Dallas Vendetta are doing. They have a player towards Pixel, and Team Mystic know about this. And the utility is going to go through. It shouldn't be that big of an issue for them. The Store Shield should give them some time, and Reactive will actually move to the prepared Bathroom position. So, I will take it back. I made a mistake. Anyway, though, Team Mystic, they don't seem to be. They've got Bills down below looking to get this vertical play in. Dallas Vendetta, they don't even seem to know.
You know what? There's a new entity in this lobby, and he just got his first opening kill. That is Bills. Silent has been a mainstay member of Team Mystic for pretty much the entire time, back when they're known as Aggro. And I didn't hear about any roster changes. Sometimes players like to, change their names around. So we're gonna have to get admin to confirm if that's, a new player, just, somebody memeing on a completely different account. But he found his opening duel, a perfect step in the right direction for Team Mystic. The problem was Dallas Vendetta was actually able to get that refrag back. That is Gunner off the board, one of the 2 hard breaches. Now, fortunately for you, if you're a Team Mystic fan, you have more hard breachers, and you're just winning gunfights across the bomb site. Dallas Vendetta starts to crumble. 2 of their teammates instantaneously evaporate, and now it's all on support players. Object and SmackDown against 4.
Yes, but never count out those support players, the Kekta and the Alder, 2 incredible weapons with some heavy hitting power. Object's gonna try and find the target. First of all, will catch Bills, will be able to take him away. He found his first kill, now he'll find his first death, and he's gonna get a refrag, but SmackDown's right there to lay the smack down. But the plant is going down. Kicks its way to the roof, and the C4 doesn't have its intended impact. Now SmackDown is in a post plant, trying to deal with 2 attackers, becoming the defenders in very comfortable positions. One on pillar, one over on the skylight, and they have the drones. They have the information. They literally just have to wait everything out. No C4 means kicks. He's going to be very hard to deal with. SmackDown isn't even going to get to that point. Aizen in the post plant at pillars will just find that frag. Hard support really coming in a huge way as soon as Gunner got taken down, and it just came down to 3 frags. Bill's able to find the opening kill. At that point, Chief, it was just numbers.
Again, Dallas Vendetta finds himself in the exact same scenario they were in round 1, their kitchen defense, on a completely different bomb site, on a completely different floor. They were upstairs, playing passive, in washrooms, not playing any angles. They just sat there and died. Same thing, same scenario with a player sitting over in U-Bar. He didn't expect Skylight to be occupied, and sure, Skylight can be a hit or miss area for the attackers, but after, the first 20 seconds around, you always have to assume that Skylight is occupied, and Asian just updated me, Bills is subbing in for Silent. He isn't a permanent roster member. Silent was just unable to play today, so that solves that confusion for the day. And hey, you know what? You were highlighting that opening duel that he got. I mean, that was the step that Mystic needed to, catapult themselves in that round 2 victory.
Right. The big thing that I want to point out isn't that gunfight. It is getting down below and getting a lot of map control that Dallas Vendetta didn't even know they lost. So when he did get that kill, it's definitely a wake-up call to Dallas Vendetta. They can do vertical. They can walk up white stairs. They can do whatever they want, realistically. And, well, Team Mystic, they wanted to go down to a plan. Dallas Vendetta, they felt a lot more pressure as soon as Bills got that opening kill, but it's actually getting that undetected. That was the big thing. Now, this is something we've seen Dallas Vendetta run before, because they go to reading dining. And if our wonderful observer Nova can show it this layering and go back over that cocktail, you can see those Aruni holes in the wall, in the floor, sorry. They make life really easy, a lot easier for the defenders, because simply put, as soon as you drop down and lose that cocktail control, you've got SmackDown holding an angle, and even before that point, when Object is still feeling that pressure, well, they're not going to be looking down at the floor, are they? So that vertical play being used in favor of the defense, not something we often see, but something very impactful, definitely.
You're talking about how those holes can be used in an aggressive manner. You can also use them in a defensive manner to deny hard breach. X-Kyro pellets go on that wall. Well, somebody's going to be downstairs in reading room the entire time on camera. He hears the X-Kyros detonate, or at least find the impact on the wall. He shoots them, and now some of those 18 X-Kyro pellets that you have, well, they're going to be lessened just slightly. And look at the offense from Team Mystic. They immediately start to apply pressure, but SmackDown answers its own. He flies out the garage door. He takes his gunfight and wins it outright. Kicks on the flank watch has now been relegated to the grave. Object forced to rotate down through the hatch, decides he wants to go back up the white stairs, and well, that position was refilled by a Mystic player. And now that smoke, that also crucial time sync operator, has lost his life.
Yes, now you're looking at Reactive taking that position yet to find a frag, but, well, Bills is working his way around, and while he is using the breaching charges to get past the Selma gates, which would cost some of those breaching charges or a drone, Hashtag is going to get taken away. He will still use that utility, and, you know, it still has that intended desire. Akinio, though, will use that SMG-11 to try and shut down Gunner. But Reactive is going to find that first kill. Bill's being taken off the board. The Ash will remain on the field no longer. But Eddie's going to try and get some vengeance. Going to be able to find a Akinio and start this vertical play. Find Smackdown as well. Reactive has got a refrag and got the Defuser, most importantly. Taking up that shield with 50 seconds left. That could be a huge play. He realizes he can't though. He backs up. He takes some damage, but there's a player down below. Gonna try to find a kill, just pulls away. They know how much control they have. He has to go past one of them or rotate to Brown. So the Defuser picked up. They will go for that plant and Reactive. No options but to go to Brown stairs. And, well, Mystic, you'd think that they'd know about it by now. Reactive's pushing through. The pre-fire comes through and finds him. And Team Mystic, well, a little bit closer, but still quite comfortably picking up that third round.
I have to admire the attack for Team Mystic because they realize that Dallas, like they did in the previous 2 rounds, are going to play passively. So what do? They immediately change out their execute to apply pressure on those defenders playing over in Cocktail. But Dallas, having a good read, they played it aggressively. But what Mystic did better was they said, all right, we understand how this bomb site plays and that vertical play upstairs. Just because we lost one of our crucial flank watch doesn't mean that spot doesn't need to be unoccupied. Actually, we need to have another attacker take that risk and fill in that spot because we know Dallas is going to use that position, that white stairs, as a highway. They ended up getting that kill. And after that, all of Mystic's attack revolved around that white stairs. And even Reactive able to just hightail it out of that position. You could see Team Mystic was prepared to capitalize on it. Now, they ended up missing that gunfight, but they still allowed that Jaeger to go up Brown stairs and then actually put Mystic in a better position. They had a better plant spot. And Reactive, again, was dead man walking.
Yeah. Dallas Vendetta really struggling to make it stick now. And, I mean, you're at the point where the attack, they've seen all of your setups. And right now it kind of feels like you're throwing mud at a wall to see what'll stick. Because, well, you've got nothing left. That really should surprise them. Unless you've got a very wide and very deep strat book. But I'm going to be honest, at this point, you don't really expect that too much. This is one of the closest rounds we've seen so far, was this Cocktail bounty. But it was still a Team Mystic win. They had that number advantage. They took the control down below, and that's where they really start to exert this pressure. Now, Hashtag will be able to find a kill onto Eddie and takes away the sledge. But is it enough, Chief? That's my big question. You're in a 5 versus 4 as an attacker. You're able to find a refrag in Gunner at this point, but still, is it enough? I mean, that pixel position's been cleared, so Mystic, you've got to get another player over there really quick, otherwise it's gonna fall apart, simply.
Remember, we talked about that exact same spawn peak. We saw Dallas lose that gunfight in round 1 to a really ridiculous spawn peak out of Coat. And in round 4, Dallas said, all right, we still want to take gunfights over to the north, but instead, we're going to go with the more safe spawn peak. And surprise, surprise, there's a reason why it's a good spawn peak, because it actually works, and more crucially, you as a defender aren't always going to be fried. But again, one of the motifs for Team Mystic is being able to take those refrags back, full utility dump over in Pixel, Smackdown forced to hightail it out of there. More coordination, that strong asset of Team Mystic, allowing them to have that control of the west side of the map now.
Yeah, now bullet holes again from Object, found him 1 kill, granted, but not the impact you need. Hashtag is going to try and find it, however. The Habana being taken off the board and the Defuser going down in no man's land. That's the big thing, Chief. In the middle of Piano, and you've got that freezer set up. The shots will come through. Gunner can win this gunfight, and won't go for the Defuser, realizes, okay, if they're playing down below, that's the 3 versus 2 on site. So we can go for this. Gunner may not realize that there is a player in bathroom, that they've pulled back, and Kicks will move over towards the hell window. Gunner just pushes through, wins his gunfight, no big deal. He's on a triple, maybe wants to get more. He's going to be able to do it, finding the kill onto Object. Hashtag, he found the impact kill so far, and he needs to find 3 more. The plan is starting to go down. The cameras, they're watching. And Gunner is on for the ace. And Gunner at this point just doesn't miss. Hashtag will around the right way. And runs into the Nomad instead. Pushes over towards Gunner, but it's Bills. Gonna be able to find another kill and find Mystic another round. Very comfortable. And on attack for Kaf Dostoyevsky, you've got to be very worried for Dallas Vendetta when they go into the defense.
I do have to say, though, that was Dallas Vendetta's best round, at least on paper. Look at how much control they had. Look at how many kills that they got. Now, it was off the gunfights of one player. The other on-site players, though, they didn't really participate. They continued to get stuck in that way. All right, my job as a smoke is to hang out here in cocktail bar number 1 and whip my smoke grenades. I will do nothing other than that round. And again, that's not the mentality that you have to have as a defender. You have to move your defense consciously out to the west to try to absorb time. But if you're starting off in the position that you plan on ending the round, I mean, you can just see how oppressive Team Mystic is. They rifle rounds down range because those are very predictable spots. What wasn't predictable was that offsite Malusi running around like a madman. And it was getting kills. If you're able to incorporate more unpredictable assets into this game, more unpredictable strategies, you can start to hurt Team Mystic. But that means Dallas has to change up their defense. They have to identify what's going wrong for them.
I feel like that's a really good approach to it. I feel like that's the right way to look at it, because it's not necessarily Team Mystic just winning. It's they're finding the weak points of this defense. They're saying, right, let's take control of it. It's they realizing that, well, Dallas Vendetta in the first round, they had a player in Pixel that moved to bathroom. So we'll put a player on white stairs. You kill them, that issue's then sorted. You know, they're looking at weak points in a setup and they're just dealing with it. They're saying, okay, well, they might be trying to spawn people, so let's focus on that. Right now, Dallas Vendetta, they have got a very, very spread out, extended, very first floor centric hold onto Kath Dostoevsky's bottom floor. And, well, the vertical play. This counters it very, very nicely. You get the utility, you isolate them like we're doing with SmackDown. He's in no man's land. He's not getting saved at all. He's just resigned to bleeding out. And, well, the Cade can't come out. Reactive can try, but the angle's being held by Gunner. And, well, you're looking at Mystic. They're just a little bit more aware of what's going on. Now, the revive will come out, but Bills and Gunner, they're just there to make sure that's not going to happen. Hashtag finding one kill. Akinio realizes this, goes for a kill of his own and will get it. And well, Dallas and Vendetta, they have got a very strong start, but the rest of Team Mystic are beginning this vertical play.
I mean, we found out Team Mystic can bleed. We found that out in round 4. They were just able to get those refrags. Now in round 5, the refrag window has all been lost. So all kills moving forward for Team Mystic, they're going to have to be made on their own accord. One of the ways to do that, as you were highlighting, McCready, is through that vertical pressure. But droning errors once again in round 5. Kicks now falls. Flank watch off the board, and Team Mystic, they only have 2 of their troops live and standing. We just eclipsed the halfway mark as well, so there is still some time this round for Team Mystic to gather all their forces back, but it's still not looking particularly good for them.
Object, he spots Asian as he goes for the kill, but knows there's a player on the breach and just has to hold it. Maybe with the shotgun, maybe the SMG, doesn't really matter at this range. It's not gonna matter. The smoke is most likely gonna win that gunfight. Asian now realizes, well, what am I doing? I'm stuck in an area with 2 castle barricades. Let's get rid of them. Constantly aware of that freezer. Nothing's gonna really happen for it. Eddie killing himself with a frag grenade. Now, we're not gonna talk about this, but, well, we kind of have to. It's right on our screens. And that is rough, dude. That is absolutely rough. Team Mystic losing that round, but the frag grenade wasn't it. The early picks of Dallas Vendetta, they came through hard. And while I criticized their defense and said they were very spread apart, vertical play could tear it up, well, they decided to strike before Mystic were ready. That was the big thing, Chief. And they picked off those first 2 kills, like you said, then a bit of misdroning. Then it just came down to, well, they're spread apart. You know, they're trying to clutch up, but it's very hard to when the bars don't agree with you, Chief.
McCready,
that's my professional analysis, by the way.
That is your ex-collegiate player analysis, and you're 100% spot on. I love that. But one thing I've never known about Cafe is that there's a light in that whiskey corridor over by Code. I've never seen that before. I've never seen it before, and I've never seen a frag grenade bounce on it, come back to your face, and blow you up. Yes, sir.
You know CSGO, and obviously this isn't CSGO, but
really,
you know Mirage, and Palace, yeah, If you look up, there's not actually a roof in part of it.
Really?
That's the same effect that we're seeing right now. Yeah. Yeah, my producers just yelled out about Soviet Womble, but yes, that's the video you see it from, and that's the exact effect we're seeing right now. The Dallas Vendetta, 1 round on the board, this split, kind of a write-off already. You can get that 4-2 split, but you're on the defense. You could need to win this round, simply put, so when you go into your attack, you at least have a good step up into it. But any chance of getting this early advantage, I think it's fully gone, Chief. I'm sorry.
You know, maybe, McCready, this is just like an enigma of a series where we're just going to see one of the most attacker-sided cafes in the history of the world. That sounds mind-blowing to say the least. It's actually happened before. It happened in an EUL game, or before they're known as EUL. So again,
welcome, by the way.
What am I welcoming?
EUL. I'm EU.
I hate it here. I hate it here. Why do we cast together?
I love you, buddy.
Well, so far, no love is being shared between these two rosters. There's the love. It was sent package mail via UPS on that M762 cartridge straight into the dome of Aquino. An SMG-11 Bro with his 9mm. Well, it's not available to him anymore. The last round of Dallas Vendetta's defensive stint, well, they're going to have to continue to hold with a man disadvantage and a nitro cell off the board.
I understood about half those words, I won't lie. But anyway, it's not important. Gunner is going to be playing on this 7 window. And because of this, well, you're just applying that little bit more pressure onto the side of Dallas Vendetta. Bills is able to find a kill, and they're not feeling the freedom of movement. What I really like about this is they've identified this pixel hold is really difficult. So let's not worry about it in the start. Let's put some pressure on. Find a couple of kills, and then we'll deal with it, because they have to pull back to bathroom. They can't hold that position anymore. They need to be in bathroom ready to deal with a push from Cocktail. Ready to deal with Gunner, who's going to concuss out Object right now. Now, the 3 key points of this Dallas Vendetta defense, they're still here. You have SmackDown, Reactive, and Object, but, well, SmackDown's going to get taken away. Object and Reactive, they have an answer, and we'll find kills each. But as the Elder sings, it doesn't really find its mark at the moment. Kicks going to find that kill, leaving Reactive in a 1 versus 3. Time ticking down, able to find the Kicks. Well, it's a 2 versus 1 now, and the plant's going down again.
Bills can be holding this cross angle now. Once this diffuser goes down, you can go away and go up and hold that skylight. The thing was, Reactive had all of those red pings to use. He attempts to find that target, but he misses those shots entirely. He's going to have to start to react more and more, taking these gunfights because time is not on his side. He still has the information from whatever device, usually a Maestro camera, but won't be able to capitalize on it one bit. Bills, the substitute for Team Mystic. He cleans it up, and it's a 5-1 attacking half for Team Mystic. A quite impressive showing, to say the least.
Yeah, and honestly, that's scary. Simply put, there's such a huge difference between a 5-1 and a 4-2. But a 5-1 on attack on Kaf Dostoyevsky, well, that says all I really want to say about it, Chief. You're looking at Mystic, they have been coordinated, they've been mechanically better and outperforming Dallas Vendetta. They've had moments where they shine, but they're just not shining bright enough. Mystic, they're consistently performing, their mechanics are on point. They're realizing that Dallas Vendetta have been tunnel visioning quite easily, so apply a bit of pressure over towards that cocktail window. Then the Elder and the Jaeger, they're just not focusing on this push coming through when they're going for the plant. A lot of things that Mystic are picking up on that Dallas Vendetta just aren't. And I mean, I saw more Russian to piano, and I kind of got worried a little bit. But no, it's just because of the setup they're doing. They're having a shot hold, Goyo Shield, ADS's Mute Jammer. God, that's going to be an absolute pain to clear out, and that's the point. Dallas Vendetta, they've been slow to pick up the momentum. This setup is just to slow them down just a little bit more.
I have to be critical of Dallas Vendetta on the operator reveal phase, something that casters usually don't talk a lot about, but there's 2 operators in particular. We saw Cali and we saw Lion. Why those operators are crucial? Because there is no hard breacher being shown. So in an operator reveal phase, you're always guaranteed to know 4 of those operators moving forward, sometimes 5 if they elect not to go for a 6 pick. But when you see a Lion and a Cali and no hard breach, well, you know that one of those operators is going to be removed, because it's folly just to bring no hard breacher and a Cali in play. So again, you as a defender can say, all right, Lion's usually going to come off or Callie's going to come off. And again, that was just a waste of a reveal because it actually provided more information to the defending team than you probably would have wanted. Again, it's a minute detail, but details matter. And when you're in a 5-1 half, those details become more crucial because you don't want to give Team Mystic any more information, any more leverage to continue on the onslaught.
Yes, but exactly what's happened is that they've looked at that instead of just having a vague idea of the 5 operators, they know pretty certainly 3 of them. Now, these line scans, they're more valuable than that county because you look at the range, it's just not going to work out. The sniper, but they've gone 6 off the Lion. The scan itself, the DMR can do some damage, not going to do it together though, and he's just going to walk away. The Jackal track will come, the Lion scan will find him, and Reactive gets the kill. But Dallas Vendetta, a minute 40 on the clock. We're almost at the halfway mark, and they haven't really applied that much pressure beyond that piano window.
I was going to say, why on earth did Lion make a Lion scan call when the Vigil, who's immune to that call, was there? But hey, it actually worked out for them. So all bright, especially when Dallas does exactly that. Object flies into CS, takes the gunfight, and wins it outright. Team Mystic, they started off playing so aggressive, and now they've lost all of the control of the west side. And what makes it even more bitter for Team Mystic is now you have SmackDown using a 3 times DMR across the map. Pre-made murder holes by Team Mystic are now being exploited at range by Dallas Vendetta.
Maybe the county was the right choice. You're looking at this line aside, but no. The DMR, the Lion. That's the better pick because those flashbangs, the drones, it's just a little bit more fine-tuned to the sight. And I say that because, simply put, you can have a sniper, but the DMR, as soon as you're looking for the push onto sight, it's going to struggle. Object will be able to find a kill, but Bill's gonna get that refrag with that 416. Gonna have to do it one more time. He's gonna find it. That's hashtag now Unity versus 3. Dallas Vendetta starting to stall out on the push. This isn't very good. The defuser is down. SmackDown knows that there's a player nearby. Bills looks to pick up another one. But that's not going to happen. The line scan comes out and you say, right, okay, let's just get it. Get the defuser, get the drop. Dino pushes through. Reactive goes down, but not before Bills. The refrag is there and Asian's worked his way behind. Oh no, 3 seconds. The clock's about to hit 000. Asian's just going to walk through. He knows he's got to push through and stop the plant, but it will go through. Finds the head of SmackDown. He can push his team to match point, but he needs to find Aquino. Holding the angle with that sledge L85 because he knows exactly what needs to be done. Asian just holding the angle, just waiting, realizing, oh, he might be over here. He is! And gets it! Somehow, Asian. Naughty boy, but take a bow. He'll push in Team Mystic onto match points.
There's no way, McCready, that we just witnessed that. That was a 2v5 comeback. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, we keep saying mechanical skill from Team Mystic, and their strategy honestly failed. Dallas Vendetta did such a wonderful job of breaking down Team Mystic, partly because Team Mystic was playing far too aggressive. Dallas Vendetta took so many opening duels that they had the man advantage by a large margin. And honestly, they threw it away. They had more than enough time. They had information. And this is where we talk about IGLing. And you have to say, all right, we have everything going in our way. Sure, we can refrag having the man advantage. We have the positional advantage. But let's just confirm where these defenders are playing. Let's lock them down so they don't do that against us. Because if you give them one margin where they can just see a smidge of error, clearly Team Mystic is more than capable of exploiting it.
Speaking of little smidges of error that can be exploited, well, this attacking round for Dallas Vendetta just got a lot easier, actually, because think about it, right? If Team Mystic, they play this aggressive playstyle, that benefits them on the attack. But when you go into the defense, you're more risking giving away stuff. Well, at this point, if they're peaking aggressively on that top floor, you can try and take that piano very early on. You don't have an IQ on the board, because that Bills was a 6 pick, but you still have information. You still have vertical play that can come through. You can still deal with this pulse. Big thing is piano. As soon as it goes, that's it. That is side control. That's in favor of the Dallas Vendetta. Now, Eddie, he's bringing out a little something over in the UK we like to call the Pulse Gamer 3. And that is the shotgun. And maybe, no, not all the time a C4, but, well, you know, we'll let him off this time. But what I really like about this, Chief, the Pulse isn't playing on site. The Pulse is playing down below. The floor is still C4-able, but you're a little bit safe. You got the mute jammers. You have a fully full... All 3 floors are being used in this hole. That's quite interesting. They have the Jaeger and the Pulse down below. They have Aizen on this floor, as you can see in train, and then you have a couple of players up above just to stop this push coming through. Which means
my friend,
an aggressive push can really benefit the attackers.
What did you call Pulse? What do the English
Gamer
call
3.
Pulse? What is that?
It's a gamer. He plays Pulse. Gunner doesn't need it. He's able to find a kill onto reactive, will jump out and jump back in. Doesn't really feel much issue. Team Mystic, they're feeling quite comfortable on match point. But the Pulse Gamer 3 is, as his name suggests, the Pulse Gamer 3. He plays Pulse in a way nobody else can. Shotgun, barbed wire, beautiful. Doesn't lose a single round on console.
Shotgun barbed wire on Pulse. I mean, that's a new one to me. I mean, I'm still Nitro Gang boy for life, you know?
I mean,
Nitro's
same.
the call center from hell. You know,
No,
you just have to rip that away from Billy.
I did. I had to steal it. He calls it hell.
I stole it as well.
So I'll let him have that, you know? Anyway, back to the game at hand. Dallas Vendetta, they're in piano. They have control. Eddie, I don't think is going to actually be able to reach with the range. But Asian's quite aware of their position. He realizes somebody's there, the hatch is open. And Object spots Ella running up, even though probably was just pre-fire. Right now, you're feeling a lot of pressure if you're Dallas Vendetta. Hashtag is going to ease that a bit. Got up off the board. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Their top fragger is gone. 46 seconds left on the clock. The frag grenade will go through, but I'm very scared right now based on what we saw before.
A perfectly landed frag grenade. Nobody was in red train car. And actually, Dallas Vendetta, they seem to do a wonderful job of dismantling this atypical bomb site, what's considered the quaternary bomb site, because, well, Team Mystic is all over the place. And so is their bodies and their blood as they're starting to fall one by one. Bills was able to save the round the last time for Team Mystic, and here he goes. He's underneath. Eddie has the information, but that's not a Nitrocell bowl spot. He has to move his Nitrocell to a completely different position. And hashtag, well, he'll start to plant in a different position. Trying to go for the lineup. The Nitrocell is gripped and ripped. It doesn't find its target, and we now find ourselves in that post-plant scenario where Eddie is underneath on that first floor, not the bomb site, but just in that information den, and now he's going to have to retake with a pistol. It's going to be practically impossible to do so, and, well, Dallas Vendetta, their lineup, their crossfires are going to be something that he can't break down.
Yeah, simply put, he knows about the Habana here, but Aquino's up on the top to refrag, so hashtag is just a formality. The round was won, and it was a very interesting setup, and I feel like there is merit to it. But the biggest problem is that Dallas Vendetta, they kind of read into it and said, okay, take the top floor. Then when it comes to this execute, we have to shock and awe them. That's what you have to do. Don't let them get that time to get the C4, get the refrangs. You have to overwhelm them. And then the players down on bottom floor, nothing to do. That's what we saw from Dallas Vendetta. Keeps them in the game. But for how long is my question. They're still on the attack. They are going to have to go to this fireplace mining again. But a different setup from Mystic is coming out.
I mean, there's a cap kit to play. You don't get much more different than that. An operator that removes kneecaps. His entry denial devices are quite something to say the least. And again, same bomb site, mining and dining. And this could just be Team Mystic saving strats. Again, I know that's a taboo thing to say on stream, but if you're Team Mystic, an upper echelon amateur, roster, what are you really going to do? Do you really want to show your strategies? Of course not. You never want to show your strategies because there's going to be some, enterprising, cunning IGL support staff that is going to learn your strats, counter strat you, and then when you go into, postseason or a grand final or a match that has some weight to it, they're going to have that slight advantage. So, again, Mystic just trying to flirt with the idea of the quaternary bomb site. We've actually seen some rosters be pretty good on that bomb site. The OG Wichita Wolves roster comes to mind back when Mayo was playing on that team. And this was always one of the first bomb sites they went to, and they had an incredibly high win rate on it. They just found a strat that worked for them, and they were always able to, catch teams off guard.
Was this before they picked you up for Wichita Wolves, by the way?
I've never been on Wichita Wolves. I've just kind of just followed the org around because it's part of my, casting heritage.
Well, I mean, stream yesterday kind of begs to differ, but Reactive, he's going to draw attention back to the game. Able to find a cap can, takes away Eddie off the board, that's C4. That 9x19, it's actually a good gun. But Kix is still alive. He has the older, he's able to find Smackdown, and he does exactly that. Smacks him down. I don't know how many times I can make this joke. I'm going to keep doing it. Object will be jumping in, and well, Team Mystic, they're going to get that run out.
Not again.
This might be why they're playing this site. Bills finding Reactive, Objects in, can't do anything to stop it. Hashtag can go on the flank watch, but Gunner picks up another. Now a 3 versus 2, Objects finding the refrag. But these Capcan traps, they're going to deal issues. And well, they know exactly where you are. Aizen has a C4, it will go up. And it will get shot out before it detonates. So huge, huge performance from Object. But it's still an uphill battle, Chief.
The only reason he shot that was running that Team Empire, channeling his inner joystick energy. But still, not the best position to be in as your Dallas Vendetta. There goes another Nitro Cell. It finds his target, but that's hashtag going down, but not out. He's in a position to be rezzed, but that Nitro Cell, it just destroyed a large part of this floor, and it's going to be that free lineup for Bills. Nitro Cell has done its work, and now Object is against the 1v3. He doesn't even know where he's being shot from. He eventually loses that gunfight outright to Bills. And just like that, Team Mystic, they take the series 7-2. People were expecting it to be swift, and swift it was.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to say the score that you predicted, Chief, because I think that's just a little bit unfair, but you weren't very generous towards Dallas Vendetta based on the previous history of Team Mystic. Well, I mean, it shows. They're very comfortable on the map. They're very comfortable with the strats, and there were a couple of things that didn't work, but overall it was very solid. And because of that, well, they're just going to move forward. They're going to be quite comfortable. Their attack, that was the big meat and bones. That was where they did a lot of this round work. That's where they were able to really just shut down Dallas Vendetta. And it's not often we see that. So, kudos to them. The defense needs a bit of tightening up, especially with that mining and dining pick, in my opinion. I mean, it's not what I'd go for, but if you're going to commit to it, have a little bit more work done on it. This is a good opportunity to work out what works, what doesn't work, and improve. I think that's the best thing. And the flip side for Dallas Vendetta, you were able to put them on the back seat quite a few times, actually. So what went right? What went wrong? That's VOD review time.
That's one of the most important things, because far too often do, young amateur teams say, hey, we just lost a series. They get frustrated. They yell at each other. They put obscenities, and then they forget about the game. They scrim the next day and just continue on. One of the crucial things, and it's painful, it sucks, you have to do your homework, which means go back, watch what you did, because I promise you'll learn more from watching how you played a series and how your opponents played. So the next time you see that scenario, whether or not, it's a roam on Cafe, you can apply that to a roam on Villa. And that's the crucial thing, is Siege, people think it's this, gear-turning game where it's so complicated that people can't think about it. But if you just learn a lesson on Cafe, I promise you can apply that lesson on every single map, all other 6 of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into what makes a team good. Aim is one of them. Game sense is another. General team coordination, that I think is the main point of yourself, because you're saying, right, if your issue is you stall out or you get split apart and picked apart quite regularly, that's a map for a lot. That's a problem on a lot of maps. So work about it. Think about it and apply those lessons, like you said. There's a lot to take away for both teams, but well, the biggest thing to take away is that scoreline. It is going to be a 7-2 victory for Team Mystic, and the first of our 2 games today will be concluded.
Yep, but that means you need to keep this Twitch tab open, because Synthetic versus Slaughterhouse Bravo, 2 of the best teams in this league, are going to be playing against each other. It is only a best of 1, but I promise you, it is going to feel like a grand final. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you in 10 minutes. Hello, welcome back to the soon-to-be rebanded UPL in week number 5. This is the final week of regular play, and a lot of these rosters are ready to write themselves in the history books and moving themselves into that postseason. Only 4 teams per division are going to be moving forward, and there are some implications for that moving into this series. Once again, we have returned. McCready and Chief are back.
Yes, indeed we are. And well, this is an important game for a lot of reasons. Well, Synthetic, they've already secured their playoff spot. This is all about seeding. If they win this, they're second. If they lose it, they're fourth, I believe. I might be wrong. I will be yelled out if I am. So I will correct that very soon. But for Slaughterhouse Bravo, very much a different story. They might not qualify at all. But there are a couple of win conditions for this. If they win this game, they qualify. If they lose this, but pick up a round, then if Tidal loses their game against Nova over Reta, then they still qualify. Essentially, Chief, they just need a round. Just get one round and you're locked in, you're safe, you're good. If you can't even do that and there's a 7-0, well, then that's just not a great position.
So more of the story is just win a round. Dallas Vendetta took 2 rounds against Team Mystic. Now, unfortunately, Dallas Vendetta finished the season at 0-5, so they are not moving over to postseason. But again, Slaughterhouse Bravo, they definitely can. Synthetic has pretty much confirmed that they're going into postseason unless, our standings get lit on fire and they forget where they finished because they're sitting at a 4-0 mark. So the likelihood of them going to postseason is practically confirmed at this point. But let's actually talk about our rosters to say who are going to be our 10 representatives in this lobby. Again, everybody here, and love. They are staples of the amateur scene. They have been around forever, and they're a reason why they're upper echelon teams.
Yeah, now Poison, Freak, Spifftoners, and Mo on the side of Synthetic, well, they're a team that are known and well feared and respected around the T3 scene in NA. They are a team that even if you haven't seen them or casted them or played against them, you goddamn know about them. It's a team that I've known for quite a long time. And honestly, it's something I've really always enjoyed seeing. It's had a lot of reputation behind it. Slaughterhouse Bravo is a similar one of those teams, is that Bravo roster, and it still has a lot of potential to really step up, qualify for the playoffs, and honestly, as long as they pick up that one round, they'll be happy. As long as they push it to a long game, I'll be happy.
I mean, the core of that Slaughterhouse Bravo roster has been around for, a year now? Maybe 10 months? I mean, known as Akara Gaming, I mean, they've been just a roster that has been, again, that staple team. And Synthetic, they have players that played together back on the X13 days so many far years ago. So again, all about OG synergization. And McCready, I think I need a hug because this game is going to be quite interesting. Synthetic is known for one particular map, and that's Villa. Slaughterhouse Bravo are also just as good on Villa. If this doesn't go to overtime round 15, I think I'm going to cry.
Yeah, at least some team is really going to step up. Villa, it's a map you've got to know and you've got to be good at if you want to make it above T4 realistically. Let's be honest, Chief. So it's a map that, like you say, this is an exciting one. Both teams, they're going to know what to do. They're going to have their strengths. They're going to go in it confident and prepared and ready to win. And that's what we like to see. The confidence has to be there. We saw it coming out from, I believe, and I'm going to try and remember, coming out from the Dallas Vendetta. And yeah, I can't actually remember the first game. This is, God, I'm getting
Mystic?
old, Chief. Help me out. Mystic. Yes, there we go. Right. Either I'm tired or I'm getting
You
old.
are in finals week. So we'll put a timeout there. He is in the middle of finals week. And I mean, we all know that it's your senior year too. In a week, you're done with uni altogether. So
I had a chat with you earlier and I was simply saying next week, I'm going to be a lot more relaxed because
next week you're an adult.
I'm going to need it. I'm going to need that timeout, please.
Timeout, pause the screen, away from caster cameras so he could just breathe and digest, which is actually something there you go, away from our faces. We didn't want to break the screen anymore, but just like Adam needs to do, digesting all the information of uni and applying that to his career, I guess both these rosters have to do the same thing. You got Synthetic, a phenomenal IGL in the back pocket. He's named Poison, Slaughterhouse Bravo. He goes by the end game of Miku, but he's really known as Wubs. Also, two incredibly competent IGLs, bigger brain players. And now they have to absorb information throughout these rounds to be able to be the victorious team today. Because again, Slaughterhouse Bravo, they want to leapfrog themselves up in the standings. And Synthetic, they want to go 5-0 in regular play.
Yeah, now, I've actually been corrected. I was wrong, and I have been yelled at accordingly, so don't worry about that, Twitch chat. The production team is on it like a bonnet. Synthetic have locked that first seed. And this is a game of pride. Like you said, a 5-0 going into playoffs, that is just, absolutely delicious. Thatcher and Ace will be the first couple of bans on the board, and while the Thatcher, do we really need to explain it? The Ace, I will, because it's a map where C4s, think about your kitchen dining, right? If you have an Ace, they can just throw those Selmas, or a Habana can shoot those pellets all the way over that floor. But if you force a Thermite or a Maverick, and with Thermite getting those smoke cannon grenades, you might see it a bit more. You're forcing them onto the soft floor, where they can be killed from C4s. Now, interesting defensive side bans, Chief. I'm gonna let you handle that.
Again, same argument that we're making for the bans that we saw on Cafe. Information is going to be so critical. And Mira has been played a ton lately on Villa. Over in Planes and Games, she's been having two different mirror windows facing over towards map, the default plants of games, as well as the gun vault door that sticks out at that 45-degree angle mark. Again, to deny that if you have a constant stream of information, meaning there is a defender sitting behind that mirror window, well, it's going to be almost impossible for the attackers to go for a plan. The only thing that you can do is premeditate bringing out smoke grenades. Ace was a great operator for that. Not only is he banned in this series, he also just lost his smoke grenades. So if you want to bring a set of smoke grenades, well, Ayana's currently available. She's now showing her frag grenades, but if you really want to participate in that strategy, you could 6-pick that away. She has a Gone 6, so you could still participate in hard utility burn. You have Ash and Sophia to facilitate that as well. Or you could just ban her outright in the prep phase. And that means Valkyrie is going to be available to the defense, but right now, that's not going to be shown.
I feel like Ace was in a very interesting position beforehand. It was a case of, he was one of those operators, like, before I even got to COP, before I even got to ranked, when I was, for 4 years out of the 6 I've been playing Siege, when I was a casual hero, playing 10 ranks to hit gold, 10 games to hit gold and then just not touching it, I go for operators with a do-it-all kit. You have a Claymore. It's everything you can bring to really benefit your team and yourself. You have a good gun. You have smoke cannon grenades. You can obstruct lines of sight. You know, that's what Ace feels perfectly. He can do it all, essentially. He can drone, he can hard breach, he can kill, he can have smoke grenades. This is just kind of toppling that dynasty just a little bit. Thermite has a higher pick rate. Right now, though, only Habana is going to be on the board. I digress quite a bit because, well, I am tired. I'm going to use that excuse quite a bit because it's true. But that's no excuse for Slaughterhouse Bravo. They're going to start pushing through. There's a myriad of vertical play that they need to investigate. They need to just direct themselves through. And Ben Turkey is going to be able to find Mo and finds that first kill.
You can't get too sleepy, though, because you want to make sure you can have all the tea to drink. And if Slaughterhouse Bravo starts to send it into the harbor, well, Synthetic, they're not going to be as comfortable over here in Planes and Games. They have that bar that they want to hold. Those vertical angles that are preset in the bar that usually is set up by a smoke player to challenge those main stairs, they're currently completely unoccupied. That was all off that initial gunfight from Burnt Turkey, who is an enigma of a player. He loves to play flank watch, and he is probably the most aggressive flank watch out there. Case in point, him just running in through library and taking on those gunfights. Spiff, one of the newer members in Synthetic, though, he's going to be using that utility kit perfectly. We heard that vertical play. The lifeline impact grenade starting to soften up that eastmost wall into study. But since there was no key claw there, it was a missed opportunity.
Now the 4XS starting to ring out. A symphony of shots is Freak able to find his third kill in this round. Bentiki will go down Carl, on his own, is looking for something. Tones has done a kill and sitting in that box. Takes so much damage. But right now, Carl's in such an awkward position, it might not even matter. He goes pro with the SMG-11. He lies in the dirt. That's where he's going to stay. But what is Carl going to do? This diffuser is stuck by that door, and you've got 2 guns watching it. You have to know that. There's no way you don't. And, well, realistically, the Cade is going to realize this as well. He's going to turn around, still has that C4 in pocket, should he choose to use it. Realistically, as soon as you know where Carl is, that's when it's going to go out. Freak, though, going to be able to find a 4th kill. Really stepping up the Synthetic there, and that flank watch was huge. The execute, it had a ton of kills, and, well, that's just a promise of things to come.
Describe a round that is just Synthetic on Villa, and I will record everything that happened in round 1, even that opening kill that Burnt Turkey got, because that's actually part of the Synthetic strategy. Far too often do they play so aggressive, but once they lose that man disadvantage, they're still going to continue on to the pre-written strategy that they had, or they adjust it to still be aggressive. Case in point, Freak. Every time he plays Villa, he is just capable of winning gunfights. 3Ks, 4Ks, aces, it doesn't matter to him. It's all on that predetermined strategy of Synthetic. Him pushing up those north stairs and taking gunfights. It's all in that predetermined strategy because they know how Slaughterhouse Bravo is going to play. They're going to go for that linear execute in from the south. Clear in that vertical. That's going to be pushed in through Art Room as well as in Library. And after that, they're going to have to try to establish more control in the bomb site. That's one of the problems with that linear execute. That means you rotate somebody over to 90. However, now that you're making a 90 rotation at the halfway mark, oddly the 92nd mark, you're not going to have that control because it's still occupied by Synthetic. That forces Slaughterhouse Bravo to continue to play aggressive. And since Synthetic is doing the exact same thing, playing aggressive, it's gunfights that are being traded, and Synthetic tends to be on the upper hand, that coming down to positional awareness.
Yeah, and I feel like on defense, you also have the advantage of you simply determine where the gunfights take place. For example, you have Mo with the pulse down in dining, but you definitely cannot count out Freak in Mediator with that MP5 on the Malusi, just begging for somebody to dare challenge him. It was Slaughterhouse Bravo. They're going to offer exactly that. The drones are going to go through and will push him back, but he's made his presence known. They don't know that other side of this wall, he's not there. They're going to have to drone him out. That's going to take time. That's going to take you information. That's going to take away something from that late push, and Freak stays alive for that late round, and that's exactly what you said. The mechanical, the gunfights, when it comes down to it, they struggle to lose it. Doc will be barreling down this 90 area with 2 minutes left on the clock and just wants to find something. You want to find those defenders. You want to find a gunfight. You're hungry for it. You need an advantage. You know it. And you just want to give it to your team. That's not going to happen, though. Synthetic, they're playing it safe. They're waiting. Like you said, they bide their time. And that's when they strike. That's when they pounce. And my God, is it magnificent.
McCready, I have some very bad news. I know you have a cute saying for when pulses bring out shotgun barbed wire, but that's not going to happen. Mohese was alive downstairs on that pulse with that nitro cell. He drops an LOL in chat because he knows he just got fried. He was playing it too aggressive. His job is to gather information and eventually deny that plan or stop the attackers from getting control into the east. If he realizes he's taking gunfights over to the west, he has to recall his troops. Tones was already there over by Big Ben, ready to take that gunfight. Mohese just needed to back it down just a smidge there. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do so. And it's actually allowed Tones to have some bright side to this. He is now flanking in through 90. There are 4 members of Slaughterhouse Bravo over there. He now collects 1. Still holding the angle, attempting on the second though, but Burnt Turkey will now shut that down.
Yes, now, Slaughterhouse Bravo, that's got them rattled. They're going to be thinking, okay, he can get behind us. Who else can? Burnt Turkey gonna open things up, though. Will find poison and start to push through. They realize, well, if they're behind us, we've got to go forward. Freak's gonna get taken away. Spiffy Boo follows very, very quickly before the plank can go down. And Slaughterhouse Bravo equalize things on their attack. And, well, shape it up to be a great game. We're looking at misplays read into by the attackers and the defenders, and they're just taking control of it. A huge round from Slaughterhouse Bravo, like you said, finding the pulls. that was the win condition. You take away the pulse, you actually have a chance of getting that plant down on site, even though it wasn't needed, Chief.
And we're talking about that being an important round. I mean, Slaughterhouse just said, all right, we've confirmed our chances going into postseason, but we still want to win this map. So that way we have better seeding. We want to try to usurp that second place control of Prevail. So we get, again, all about that excellent seeding moving forward. Now, we're talking about that pulse play from underneath, Mohese losing his life, but I also want to talk about Tones for 1 second. I don't know how I feel about that 90 pressure he had. Excellent job taking that 1v1 gunfight, but he then stood his ground in a pretty common area. I would actually like to see him retreat maybe deeper down to the south side known as Books of Classical Hallway and hold that angle, or even just go in through study and just try to take a little bit more different gunfights. If he is sneaky enough to go in through stud, he actually might be able to replicate that exact same shot that he had over a 90, because that was still a 4 stack of Slaughterhouse Bravo. As soon as Synthetic lost Tones, I mean, you could see them change their strategy instantly. They said, all right, we have to take more advantages. Yes, sir.
Let me add on to this. Well, Tones had a shotgun, and it was by Vault.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it, but you can make a rotate into Vault and apply that little bit of psychological pressure. You don't have to push, you don't have to play aggressive, you don't have to hold your ground, and you can still get a lot of the advantages that you wanted. Burnt Turkey, speaking of advantages, finds Tones through that pantry wall, and, well, you're not going to have that impact at all this time. You don't have the pulse, so, well, it's not a key position to hold anymore, but losing that player on the bottom floor, that's not going to help. Mohese's is nearby, but how badly are you going to want to stick onto this? Not at all. Why? You don't need it. So you're going to pull back. The rest of Slaughterhouse Bravo, well, they've pushed in. They have control of this bottom floor and can begin the vertical play. That's a utility gone. This round is very comfortably Slaughterhouse Bravo's with that first kill.
We call that getting turkeyed, because Burnt Turkey has been doing that for like years now. Back when he was on Project Crimson and we were playing against Project Crimson, that happened to be so frequently, not only in live matches, but when we were scrimming them. So I've always called it getting turkey when you get sprayed down through that pantry side, just because I have bad memories of him doing that to me. Oh no, Synthetic, they're making their own bad memories. It's a phantom that entered the lobby. Just people start to evolve into dead bodies practically instantly. Over half the lobby is now dead, but somehow in favor of Synthetic, or and Slaughterhouse Bravo.
Yes, and right now, time ticking down. Spiffy Poo has retaken Astro and has a real potential to shut down Doc. If you're able to do this, then suddenly this opens up the whole round for you. It's a 2 versus 2. Spiffy Poo will be thrown down. This is a big issue. You're low HP. There's a player there for the refrag. And Slaughterhouse Bravo, they're going to go for the push. They're going to find the kill. Freak gets 1. But you're going to find 2 more. Time to get down to a minute. Freak has to get on the hunt, realizing that, well, they're going to be pushing. They know where I am, and I've got to do something. I've got the diffuser, so I get aggressive on these angles. I pre-fire them. I don't peek. I pre-fire everything. That's going to get you a kill onto Doc. Cal's going to go for the refrag, and we'll get it. Slaughterhouse Bravo get their second round on the same site.
The easy analyst will say, don't get opening killed by being sprayed through a wall. And that's just, you know, a mistake that happens in any level of competitive siege. But after that you're a man disadvantage, you need to find ways of getting that advantage back. To Synthetic's credit, they did a wonderful job of refragging. However, Slaughterhouse Bravo were always able to just get those kills back and forth. That's why we saw at that 90-second mark, both of these rosters were losing team after team, but Synthetic was still just never able to recover after that initial death. And Slaughterhouse Bravo has shown a dominance on that secondary bomb site of Trophy. It's been so dominant, Synthetic is going to say, all right, we've gone to this bomb site twice. We're not going to attempt it again, and we're going to go over to the bomb site that we've won. A good read to have by Synthetic. Now, it's important to note this map has been attacker side in the past. So just because that we see Slaughterhouse Bravo up 2 rounds right now, that doesn't mean that Synthetic won't be able to do that when they go over their attacking stent. And Poison has allowed, or is allowed to bring his favorite operator into the game, Clash.
Yeah. I mean, we had a little hint at it earlier, and it did have a bit of an impact, but not really. It wasn't a playmaker. It wasn't a round winner like Freak was sitting in that Aviator, and, well, that's what Synthetic, they're going to want to recreate. Now that they can come back to this site, they've just lost Trophy Statue twice. Well, this is what you want to replicate. Having that Jaeger with such an impact is huge, but you can't rely on it constantly. The big problem is with that, well, you're relying upon somebody to really step up in a huge way every single time. Freak has the potential to do that, has the mechanical ability and sense of mind to be in a position to do that. But is it going to happen? Slaughterhouse Bravo, they're going, instead of a main lobby push, very much committing to this 90 tape because, well, the main push didn't work, simply put. They have this set up, they have the drones moving in, the entry fraggers following very, very quickly, and immediately they're very fast and very competently getting a lot of map control on the board. The Nomad means the staircases, you don't worry about them so much. You can really get on with the meat and bones of this site without too much hassle, too much worry. That's something I found myself playing, and it's something I've had a lot of teams replicate as well. Big thing with this push, though, is obviously Synthetic. They're aware this is probably going to happen, and have made some sightlines to deal with it. And the Clash on 90 is going to spot the Gemini, and will allow it to get shot out.
I had a lot of Synthetic casting over the past week, and I casted them in 2 different best of 3s, and their Villa planes and games hold were always just incredible. They're like a rubber band. They can snap and bend in every single possible way, but you can guarantee that they're going to snap back into the position that they want to be, the natural position, and that's always just down to how fluid they are as teams. But one change that Synthetic has had against the Slaughterhouse Bravo roster is they're losing HP in these just random areas. In round 3, we saw that wallbang. Spiff now on 1 HP to a frag grenade. Again, that's a pretty common frag. You know that's going to happen, and why Spiff lived, and we actually saw Freak take that opening duel. You still don't want to have HP just being lost another round for free.
Yeah, that's just not a great way to start the round. That's an investment for later. But one investment being capitalized upon is the kill onto Poison. Clash being taken off the board by Cal. And, well, simply put, Slaughterhouse Bravo, they don't have that ticking down of the HP, the slowing of the momentum. That's going to have to come from the Synthetic players themselves. 2 on each site, and Freak is going to make sure that Doc will not have an impact. Looks towards main stairs, but just can't land the shot. Miku's going to win it out instead. The revive on Doc will come through, and Cal's already on site, able to spot the Mozzies as he pushes and dies. The smoke with the SMG-11 loses it, so now it's down to Tones on the mute. Gets the planter, what a shot onto Burn Turkey. But Spiffy Poo and Tones, well, you're all going to fall in succession. Slaughterhouse Bravo, strength to strength to strength. That was a 3rd round on the board, and, well, Synthetic, Chief, they might have just snapped.
So there's a statistic that was running around during the SI qualifiers that 80% of the team that got the opening kill, which means the team that killed the other team, lost the round. So that means 20% of the time that you got that first blood, you lost. And that seems like a perplexing stat. That should be the other way. There's no way that a team that's now forced to 4v5 wins 80% of the rounds. But it has to do, I think, with players just getting kind of antsy. They see, oh, hey, they're at the man disadvantage, and they start to forget basics. They forget frag grenade lineups. They want to swing things a little bit too much because they want to bring back to that 3v5 margin. And actually, the winning roster found themselves in the same scenario. Now, they lost an opening duel, but it came down to that plant. It was a haphazard plant trying to go down in a different position over by that bomb chassis. The problem with that particular plant, though, is what about Gunvault? You haven't done anything to clear it. You still had drones. You still had utility. And Slaughterhouse Bravo just decided, all right, we're going to go for this plant. And that could have buried the round for them. Again, fortunately for them, they're able to get the 2 refrags necessary to win the round. But you do have to monitor some mistakes like that, because if it was like a 2v2 with 3 seconds left on the clock, I mean, Synthetic would have won that round.
I mean, I'd like to add something that our producer Hype has just put in chat, and I feel like it sums it up quite nicely, you know. Slaughterhouse Bravo, they're playing like their lives depend on it. Because they do. They've already secured that one round that they needed to lock in that playoff spot. However, they don't want to stop there. They realize, well, those spot reviews that you talked about in our last game, you're going to have that support staff, that analyst is saying, I'm going to have a look at this. I'm going to break it down. Well, they don't want to show any weaknesses. Okay, they lock in a potential tiebreaker, not playoffs. Very tired, but still has Bravo on, and that's the important thing. I can still talk, so I'm going to stop giving excuses for myself. Right now, Slaughterhouse Bravo, they're on this run clear. You hear the little chunk of utility going down, and Synthetic, they're attempting this Aviator Games hold again, and there's a lot of potential behind it, but I feel like the refrags have got to be there. Poison switched off that clash, and it makes sense because it just didn't work. You've added a Mozzie to the combo. The information that Slaughterhouse had, that's not going to be there in the same way, and you still have 90 control. Tones in an awkward position, but Freak's going to ease up the pressure a little bit with a kill onto Cal. Takes away the Ash, that entry player, as Tones is able to find Big Turkey. Another player maybe down on the bookshelf, but you don't need to peek it until you know if you're Synthetic. This is their round to win.
What on earth is going on? Slaughterhouse Bravo, their only victory on planes and games was a north to south clear. Now they're going for a linear execute. They did this back in round 1, and they lost that round. Now it's all on Wubs. In a 1v4, he collects onto 1, but it might just be purely in vain. He loses that to the Nitrocell as he pushes in through maps. No surprise there. He's in an impossible situation. I'm not sure why he elected to make this call, because again, we saw Slaughterhouse Bravo go for their linear execute, and it failed. The second time they attempted, it also failed.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me. We're seeing Synthetic, they're returning to a site that didn't work, but now it did. I feel like that clash coming in to give another gun, and you know, you're freeing up another gun because Poison takes the SMG-11. That means, well, Tones, he can go on to somebody else. He could go on to the Mozzie. He can cause those issues. And, well, it looks like we're on par for a 3-3 split. I'm not going to lie. Synthetic, they've realized Trophy Statue, it just didn't work. Let's go kitchen dining. And Poison, I don't think he's going to be bringing it, but the dream of a Pulse Gamer 3 moment is alive.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Oh, Pulsey Pulse. In play. Again, this is the best bomb site for him. We saw it used as the extension downstairs into, well, where our bomb site currently resides when it was an upstairs trophy defense. But how will Slaughterhouse Bravo elect to go for this execute? Because everybody remembers the OG ways. You clear from the east side of the map on that second floor, but a lot of rosters have been going for southwest roam clear, starting off with library and doing these linear executes. The reason behind those types of plays are simple. If all of Synthetic's emphasis is to hold and make sure, well, Slaughterhouse Bravo doesn't push upstairs, why would you push upstairs? You're going to literally fight against a brick wall, and that's difficult to do. Now, we can see where Slaughterhouse Bravo has spawned. Some of them over to the east, but a large chunk of them over towards the west. They're already starting to go in through the bottom washrooms window, so now linear execute is in full effect. Synthetic does have a contingency plan for that, and that's going to be Tones roaming over here in library.
Yes, now that Yana Gemini is going to be going through and going to be trying to collect that information. Tones spots it, takes it down, realizes, well, the drone's going to be going through as well. There's somebody here. They're going to try and find the kill. That's exactly what they're going to do. Slothy able to find that kill opens things up for Slaughterhouse Bravo, wanting a 4-2 split, but comfortable in the knowledge that a 3-3 is on the cards on their attack. Now, Cal will take some damage. Spiffy Poo realizing that, well, there's going to be a lot of soft destruction that's going to come into play simply, but Freak is above. But that's an investment. That's simply put, you drop later, you go on a flank later, you catch them off guard. Slaughterhouse Bravo, they're ignoring the top floor because they're realizing it's an element that will not help them right now. The pulse is going down below. That's what Poison's doing. You have to find a frag, but I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes that you don't see in that kill feed. And Slaughterhouse Bravo, they're starting to stall out a little bit. It's not going to work. It's not a permanent solution, but this is helping just that little bit. Tones, well, Poison, sorry, he is making his way over towards the red stairs, and in doing so, I think will be droned out, actually. This can be dealt with by Doc, and if it is, well, it's just going to make life so much easier, but it doesn't seem like it. The C4 gets ripped, it pulls, it doesn't kill. Doc stays alive. One more minute at least. Put a player down on red stairs. That's going to be Freak walking down, but Doc, just bring around the Rosie. It's like T4 rosters. It's musical chairs, Chief.
Hopefully nobody's going to be disbanding after looting round 6. That's going to be the important thing. And, well, Slaughterhouse Bravo, they've absorbed 2 minutes of time, and they're going to have to start with their execution phase. They really hasn't crossed off anything of that synthetic defense, and they're starting to fall one by one. They start to lose gunfights. A 3K for Spiff, looking to make it that 4, is now Doc's the only one left from his roster, eventually being finished off, and Spiff will confirm that 4K. Synthetic, they just sat back, relaxed, they put their feet up on their desk, and allowed Slaughterhouse Bravo just to rush their bomb site after not accomplishing much after that opening duel.
Well, Chief, I was promised a quick game, and dare I say these words, Chief? An absolute bomb burner.
Oh,
Because
no.
terminology, yes, I will be handing in my caster license after this, don't worry.
Please.
But simply put, we're just seeing an incredible game coming out from both of them. Both teams, they're finding weaknesses, they're exploiting them, they're fragging out, and then the next round, the other team does that to them. It's tit for tat, and right now, Synthetic going onto the attack, well, they need to be able to keep that pace up. Slaughterhouse Bravo on the defense on Villa, and you look at the bands of the operators as well. I feel like this is, it's kind of balanced more towards the defenders. Take away that Maestro, maybe put in an Echo, or just add in maybe a Malusi or a Goyo. Ultimately, I feel like the Thatcher and the Ace Band, that does a lot of damage to an attacking lineup. Synthetic, they just need to be able to keep pace, at least push it to overtime. Slaughterhouse Bravo on the other side, they've just been doing incredible, simply put.
So, we've seen 2 different trophy defenses come out. That was when Synthetic was on their defensive stint back at the other half, and they lost both of those rounds. Now Slaughterhouse Bravo, they want to deviate away from the norm. They say Plains and Games, a primary bomb site to the south of the map, we don't want to deal with that yet. We're just going to try to catch Poison in a awkward rotation where he's going to be caught off guard. And all the utility that Slaughterhouse Bravo has put up is for that style of play. Now Mohese, as well as Synthetic, they're going to say, all right, we respect your extension out to the south. We're going to do our own linear execute, very similar to how Slaughterhouse Bravo executed when they were taking on Trophy.
And, well, I gotta be honest, I want to see Synthetic bring energy. I want to see them bring an aggressive push. And I want to see them really take control of the map they want, if that makes sense. It might not, but, you know, well, I'm going to try and make it make sense. I want to see Synthetic confidently take this map control. The Yana's going to allow that, and while Miku will shoot it out and will just pull back, you know that there's a Yana. You suddenly know that a Gon 6, 2 frag grenades are on the board, as well as a G36 and a recurring drone. Slothy is going to be able to find Freak, make sure the Zafia is taken off the board, and no refrag is going to be coming through from Slaughterhouse Bravo. In fact, the angles that they're holding, they're being very, very careful with. They're being patient, and they're realizing that at this moment, if Synthetic get a kill, it's because Slaughterhouse have given it to them. You waste time. You force them into your lines of sight, into your kill boxes. That's how you win the round. Slothy is this kind of rogue element here, looking for something, just roaming around. Burn Turkey will trigger an air jab, but probably just so that you don't have to do it later. There's nobody there to act upon it for Synthetic, and that feels like the story of most of this round so far.
Synthetic isn't anywhere near their execute phase. I mean, Tones is still being swung from downstairs. Memo, he ends up winning the gunfight against Slothy. Probably a little bit too brazen for Slothy. He needs to be toning that aggression on down. And that actually is going to put Synthetic in a decent position moving forward. Simply because what was a man advantage in favor of Slaughterhouse Bravo is now a man disadvantage. Now, Tones lost a lot of HP in that engagement.
No.
He can die to smoke grenades, and there his is down. The vertical pressure, those holes pre-made by Slaughterhouse Bravo, they do work both ways. Wubbs is now down, but not out. Tones could be brought back up, and in theory, Tones is in a better position, because he was on 1 HP, now over to 20.
Chief, it was the frag grenade. It happened.
Oh, it was a frag?
Cal is going to be going on the red stairs, applied that pressure, but Tones is, like you said, very low on HP. Smoke casters will start to go through, but not before Spiffy lands that shot. Mohese will find that frag, and now it's a 2 versus 4. Cal and Miku staying alive for the late round, but Miku, he's gone down below. Cal's able to find a kill onto Toads, finds poison as well. The plant is denied because, simply put, well, you're not going to peek it with a madman like Cal swinging around. Miku's able to find a kill, and Slaughterhouse Bravo will win on time. And, well, Chief, that was incredible. Honestly, that was such a good round to bring back from Slaughterhouse. They caught Synthetic off guard. Yes, Tones won the gunfight, but then that frag grenade, it wasted time. It wasted potential of shutting down these flanks, pushing up Astro stairs. It forced the time to get wasted. And then when it came down to these that late round scenario, Tones was such low HP that really didn't matter. A rehost will be called, Chief, and I'll let you share some of your thoughts on that.
See, you mentioned that round going down to time because that's what Synthetic didn't have any of. Their full execute in through kitchen, they didn't really accomplish much. They wasted time. They tried to break down that triple wall utility, and beyond that, they didn't do anything else. They were being pressured from behind, and that was a mistake that Slaughterhouse made. It was the fact that Slaughterhouse started playing it so aggressive that 4v1, or that, so pardon me, that 5v4 was turned into a 4v2 in favor of Synthetic. But since they wasted so much time downstairs in kitchen, not accomplishing any of their goals, they lost the objective of that round. And we saw Wubs push in from underneath, take that gunfight with that Nitrocell, and save the day for Slaughterhouse Bravo. Time is one of the most crucial assets in Rainbow Six Siege. You can never lose track of that time, because even if you do so many things well, rectifying your mistakes of the round, at a certain point, you could have gigabrained your way to a potential victory, but Father Time says, nope, we're done with this round.
Yeah, it's something that really just shows what good teams are. Teams that can manipulate that clock and manipulate the situation to best suit them. That's something Slaughterhouse did really nicely because, well, even though we didn't see the Goyo win that gunfight, Tones, such low HP, then downed themselves the frag grenade. And I think at this point, with what we've seen so far, obviously frag grenades, this is confirmation bias. I'm looking at this and saying, well, this is every time I've seen a frag grenade do it. 2 times, it just reminds me of that meme. It's like, if I had a nickel every time, I'd only have 2, but it's weird this happened twice, where we've seen that grenade just bounce back and find that kill. But most importantly, it got the down onto Tones instead of just doing some damage. That meant the revive had to come through. It's all just the fact that I love the butterfly effect, because you can just track one little thing through a round and see the impact that it has. And I think it is just Yana being chosen to go into Memorial. That was a key part of the round. But there's so many other things that you can talk about. Just like this presence of mind for the Melusi to run around, just start finding kills. And then you just bring Mute downstairs with that C4. You wait for the post plant. You wait for the planter to feel so uncomfortable. You go exactly where you want him. That's what I love about Time, because his options were limited.
How does that proverb go? I'm rubber, you're glue. My frag grenade comes back to you. Is that how it works? No, that's not how it works.
I've heard that one. I'll let you have that one for now, but I can't say I've heard it.
I just heard a collective sigh from our producer after that one. I'll give myself a 1 out of 10 for that. That one was a bad dad joke, but I had to make it.
Right, that was rough. Anyway, going back to talking about the actual round
just
itself,
like that first match.
Yeah, Slaughterhouse, they've really actually taken it away. And you might say, well, yes, Synthetic, they've already qualified. They're already sorted. So they might just say, well, let's just play it carefully. Let's not reveal anything too strong. And you talked about saving strats, but I don't think that's the case. I think Synthetic, they're just playing it a bit more relaxed. They're not worried as much. But honestly, in their shoes, I'd want to go for that 5-0. I don't want to have a loss on my wins, on my record. So I'd be going all out. But obviously, there's, like we said before, there's a reason we're casting and not playing.
See,
from that way you will.
I think Synthetic is going to go full tilt, because if they were saving strats, they wouldn't go to Villa. I mean, if you're known for Villa, if you're considered one of the best Villa teams, and you're sitting at 5-0, and you're like, all right, I'm sitting at 4-0, and you want to save strats, well, you're gonna go to the opposite of Villa. You're gonna go to like Chalet or something, right? You want to go something that you don't want people to see, or if they do see, it's not going to affect you too much because it's not going to be one of your postseason matches. And also, as you're mentioning, Slaughterhouse Bravo, they want to stay in this series because if they win it, they will 100% confirm their choices of postseason compared to doing that. You know, there's a 3-way tie, and now we've won a round. We should have the round differential, but what happens if somebody else does something better than us? There's just too many variables. Slaughterhouse Bravo, if they want to completely remove variables, if they want to forget all the math that they did in high school, they win it now.
God, I would absolutely love to do that right now. But, well, you know, graduation, it calls to all of us at the end of the day. And I mean, some of us sooner than others. But still, the big thing is, yeah, Slaughterhouse, they want to win. They want to make sure that they don't have to worry about a tiebreak. They don't have to worry about any of that because one win here will solidify that position. Synthetic, they might be feeling a little bit generous. They might not want to win this as badly as Slaughterhouse, but like you said, if they want to win it, Villa's the right place to go. Now, Coastline is the first map that comes to mind when you think about saving strats. Well, you just go straight to Coastline. You know, it's a frag-heavy map. It's a lot about the gunplay, default setups. They're the most you realistically see 9 times out of 10. Maybe sprinkle a little bit of Penthouse Theater when you go to T1 in the Invitational, which a ton of fun, by the way. I've loved watching these setups coming through, but honestly, Coastline, Concert, those are the maps you expect to see when it comes to not really wanting to reveal too much. Synthetic, it can go either way. It can be they're just saying, well, we've already qualified, let's not worry, let's not let it affect us. Or they can say, they've annoyed me. I want to win. Let's just go all send, or full send, simply put.
Unfortunately, the only full send we're going to do is over to a quick technical break. Our players are struggling to get back into our server, so we'll be back with you as soon as we can. Please don't go anywhere. Keep our tab open.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you hate bonds and love Firewell, you are in for a treat. We got a bomb burner of a game right now. Synthetic, And Slaughterhouse Bravo 3-4 currently. Slaughterhouse Bravo winning their first defensive round on that trophy statue site. An incredible 2 versus 5 to bring it back, Chief. And, well, they're looking to keep on this momentum, aren't they?
Oh, they don't want to stop the hype train at all. The moment that you give any one of these rosters an inch, they'll immediately take that mile away from you. Now it's curious. Slaughterhouse Bravo, they brought out Trophy as their primary bomb site, and now they're not going to go over to Plains and Games, what most teams consider their primary bomb site. It's downstairs to the kitchen we go, and to have a strong comparison between Synthetic was bringing out that pulse. Slaughterhouse Bravo, no pulse to be seen, and only 2 nitro cells, so not quite the call center from hell or the nitro cell bonanza.
Oh. I haven't had Nitro Cell Bonanza before, but that's fine. I'm sure I'll probably hear it a few more times. But that bottom floor, yes, that's what you talk about. This is the site where, shockingly enough, we're not going to see a pulse. But that's okay, because this is very much a top floor hold from Slaughterhouse Bravo. They're not really worried too much about actually going and bringing that pulse, because that top floor hold, that's what they want. They've got vertical play as well, and I feel like they're just going to be using this in a little bit of a bastardization of the typical trophy statue setup, because you have that 2 walls of that triple wall, make a rotate, get a castle barricade on that, or not in this case, and you have free reign into master. You have a very fluid defense, and you can respond accordingly to the attackers. Right now, Synthetic, they want to go towards Aviator Games. They want to go for a clear towards 90, start moving around, and putting pressure on them. That's a big thing that they can do, and the big thing that's going to stop them is going to be these players up in Trophy, Chief. And drone work is coming through. Right now, Synthetic, they've kind of kicked it back up a gear. The drones are leading the charge. Everyone's doing their due diligence. That's the important bit. And my God, they're going to need it when they come up against that turkey.
I love the attack that Synthetic is bringing out right now. It's like a wave washing over on Villa. A lot of teams do this style of attack, but what's different about it for Synthetic is they're executing on both floors at exactly the same time. They're clearing the same rooms above and below. So like that wave metaphor, it is just washing away everything on that south side of the map up until they get to that insertion point. That wave then is going to find a giant wall. Its name is Slothy, and it shuts down Freak. Now the Synthetic offense is going to be in a different position. How are they going to go for this execute? Do you continue to participate in clearing out that top floor, or do you just rectify that altogether and start to push in through Memo, taking the gunfight straight to Slothy? Unfortunately, every gunfight that's taken, Synthetic has now lost. 3 of their teammates are now dead. It's a 2v5, and we still have 80 seconds left in this round.
Yes, one wall of House Slaughter will be taken away by Spiffy Poo, but at this point, you're just playing catch-up. A minute's left on the clock, and you're just about to lose poison. Oh my lord, this rehost. What has Slaughterhouse been doing in that time? Spiffy Poo's gonna take some damage, only found 1 kill since that rehost, and, well, kind of looking towards Doc now at the moment, because he's the only one without a kill. Slaughterhouse Bravo, bit of a team ace, maybe. You never know. Although they might just settle for a round win instead. Spiffy Poo gonna take some damage. Finds Slothy as well, but, well, Slaughterhouse Bravo, they have got a whole lot of bodies to throw at this problem, and, well, the Defuser not being anywhere near Spiffy means it might be a little bit. So the frag grenade will go up, it won't find a damage, it won't find a kill, and Spiffy is left with quite a few difficult choices. Time ticking down, you're going to have to choose to abandon that Defuser, go for the gunfight onto Burnt Turkey, but Cal is there for that refrag. A tremendous effort, but just not enough. Too little, too late.
You know, these are one of those rounds where you can say, oh, the strategy was great. Synthetic did so many things well, but we have to remember, this is a first-person shooter. You can have all good ideas, but at some point, you have to take gunfights, and you have to win them. Slaughterhouse Bravo, they took 5 different gunfights, and they ended up winning it. I mean, not quite the team ace that McCready was looking for, but it was still their whole strategy. They allowed Synthetic to have all this map control. It lulled them into this false sense of security, and Slaughterhouse Bravo, on pre-established angles, just waited for Synthetic to walk on by. They see the targets, they shoot the targets, and they win those duels. A good round altogether by Slaughterhouse Bravo. Now they've been changing up their bomb site rotation. Now that we go to what people consider the best bomb site on this map, what does that mean for Slaughterhouse Bravo? Is this their best bomb site, or were they just trying to throw the ingrained rhythm of Poison off? Because again, most of the time as an IGL, you say, all right, they're going over to Planes and Games first. I set my operator lineup to deal with it. I set my preset drones to deal with it. And he hasn't dealt with it for 2 rounds. Now he can get into that mindset, but has it already changed him in some way?
I've got a more important question to ask. Aviator Games or Trophy Statue for you? What is the go-to in comp, in your opinion?
I think Trophy is a terrible bomb site, personally. It's very difficult to hold. I mean, how do you hold the east side of the map? You either put a deployable shield and challenge, but that can get, there's no way to cover it. You take gunfights over into Planes and Games, but your rotations are pretty much impossible. I mean, you either reinforce that wall into 90, but that's one of your best reinforcements gone at the cost that the attackers won't have that cutoff. You can't go in through zombie because the attackers have study. Again, there's so many ways that Trophy just isn't a good bomb site because the defenders don't have their paths to roam around, where at least Planes and Games, there's stairwells and hatches nearby that the defenders in theory could use to have just an instantaneous escape route.
Yeah. No, that's what I love about you, Chief. You always got a hot take in the oven, and it always smells good. I personally, before the 20-second meta went, I was a Trophy Statue guy all the way, but now, yeah, there's a lot more fluidity, and that's what you need when you can't just turtle and bunker down and trust in the ADS utility drain meta, because it's just simply not there. This is a site in which you can see Slothy on the red stairs, or near the red stairs, is about to feel some pressure, but could drop down immediately. These roamers have a lot of freedom in what they can do. They can rotate, they can deal with the threats from down below, they can deal with the push that Spiffy Poo's about to apply. And I do have a little bit of a question. I'm wondering what Synthetic are doing now. They've put some pressure over towards Aviator Games, but now with halfway, they're going to start this Statue Trophy roam clear. They're going to start this, and now these roamers, they've got so much more power just by playing it that little bit more safe. Freak is still by that main lobby, ready to push up main stairs, but, well, if he doesn't time it, doesn't get a kill, it's just going to be impactless and just give Slaughterhouse Bravo a little bit more capability. Jones will go through, and Tones is going to lose his, but it's Yada, so it's fine. You don't really worry about it. That 19 is going to get cleared anyway. And Doc's going to make his presence known, pulls back, realizes that they don't know you're not there. They have to move forward. Freak decides to get aggressive. We'll start to move up, but the vertical play, that's going to start taking...
Study door is getting opened up, as well as Synthetic pushing in through the north. Here comes that vice grip that Synthetic was trying to achieve with an opening duel going in favor of Synthetic. They don't know it yet, but Slothy's position over in Study, I mean, he's a dead man walking at this point. There's no way he ever leaves that spot alive unless there's immediately a crazy 6-pick that just doesn't feasibly happen in a competitive game when there's 30 seconds left in that round. Freak now drops as well. The full send execute for Synthetic. It has to start to ramp up. They have to start to push through fatal funnels, and they're currently not doing that. They're falling one by one. Now it's all a Mohese. The flank watch. He has to evolve into a centralized fragger. Unable to do that as Doc ends up burying him outright. They trade themselves out as Doc is downed in that gunfight. But that's Slaughterhouse Bravo on a flawless defensive quarter.
Yes, and because of this, well, now they're starting to break away from it. We saw tit for tat on their attack, but they've just stepped up. Last time in SFCL, Slaughterhouse Bravo, they lost 7-2. That is just not happening here. Slaughterhouse Bravo, they want that spot in the playoffs, and my God, they're prepared to do anything for it, and it shows. They've just been playing comfortably. They've been playing confident, and they've been trusting in their setups. Synthetic have, since the rehost, in my opinion, not really seemed fully awake. I know it's harsh, but they've not been as mindful of that time, and that's a big issue. Because, like I said, halfway through the round, they only just started their roam clear. That's when the roamers really get a lot of power behind them. That's when Doc goes over, he shoots a Gemini, he's wasted 20 seconds. They need to drone it out. They need to get the players around comfortably to try and find those kills and try and find that map control. That's not what happened. Synthetic, they went into Fatal Funnels, like you said. They didn't have time to make that heart-breaching, and, well, that's when Slaughterhouse started to pick them apart. Trophy Statue, the site that you yourself have said you really dislike, and I feel like we're gonna find out whether you're right or wrong, Chief. I mean, I personally don't think it's a horrible site, but I'm willing to be proven wrong by you, because it's you.
I love when you say that, McCready. Now, the stat lines don't lie, though. This was statistically the worst bomb site on the map, that being Trophy. That's NAL standings from the previous stage. But one thing that we always have to keep in mind, our opinions on bomb sites will always be different, because you being from Europe and me being from North America, our regions just play things differently. And bomb sites are going to always have different win rates. The only time that they ever become normalized, and it's difficult to even call that normalized, is when we have, international events. And it's been over a year since we've had it. We're currently in the middle of SI, and we're starting to see how these macro strategies cross back and forth. That's not a macro strategy to have. Slaughterhouse Bravo, what are you doing, man? How did you just lose Cal and Wubs like that? Your whole goal is designed to stop an insertion into study. And Slaughterhouse Bravo forgot about study?
Yeah, that's kind of rough. Now you can see Synthetic, they've taken control of 90. Now that flank is going to have a really hard time getting up to 90 control. That Red Stairs is where you have to be for Slothy, but you can't be that long. You've got to pull back very, very soon. And, well, that's just not where you want to be if you are an attacker or if you're a defender. Now, Slothy is going to hear that drone, will get aggressive and finds a kill. Tries to even it out. But now you're in no man's land. You know these players are over towards his fault position. One may just push through, but the drone is most likely going to lead the charge. That is going to be there, and that's where Burnt Turkey steps up. Salty tries to find a refrag, but isn't able to do it. Mohese, he's going to find that kill onto the Goyo, but the damage is done. It's a 3 versus 2 now. It's not as bad as it seemed for Slaughterhouse Bravo, but now they're trying to sit down onto this site. They're trying to bunker in. The push does come out, but Turkey getting taken away by Poison, holding that angle. Suddenly, Dog. A 1 versus 3, and just not 3 lines of sight coming from one person. Will be taken away. Synthetic, they heard me say they weren't awake. They stepped up. They improved incredibly, and they just found the kills that they needed. They read into the aggression very, very nicely, and they were in positions to refrag. That was very well executed from them.
That was something different. The problem was Synthetic didn't need to waste utility. They barely droned it out because Slaughterhouse Bravo gifted kills. I mean, that first swing, all right, fine. I'll write that off as Slaughterhouse Bravo trying to just stop the primary insertion force. After that, where was Wubs trying to challenge? He was looking over towards Classical Hallway like as a double push, which was happening. But he needs to, in that moment, determine who is the bigger threat. And, well, we have that overhead view to say, really, Synthetic's offense on the west side of the map, Classical Hallway, was not the threat. We knew that study was at play, and he just misread into it. After that, Slaughterhouse Bravo, with that man disadvantage, was forced to take gunfights. And boy, did they ever. To be able to bring it back to a 3v2 like that is incredible. And even when we saw Burnt Turkey swing that 2v3 into Lamp and take that gunfight, I don't have a problem with that, because Synthetic could just out-trade you. You take a gunfight and Synthetic loses, well, there's still more members of Synthetic to instantly get that refrag back. So Burnt Turkey, he played his hand well. What I will say, though, he needs to communicate a little bit better with Doc, so Doc also simultaneously swings that, and now you have more rounds going down range. You're going to have a higher chance of winning a gunfight just simply by the volume of bullets. And most defenders or most attackers aren't going to peek when, defenders are unloading on you.
Have you been listening to me in my ranked games? Accuracy through volume, doesn't matter if you miss as long as you hit the head.
I do lurk in your streams sometimes, but I've never heard you say that. but
Yeah, well, it's sort of
I'll
like
give you
saying,
credit for it anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, still, that's the point that you're talking about. Slaughterhouse Bravo could have gone and got more rounds down range, but they didn't. Now they're going to be back in that kitchen dining with this top floor hold yet again. Synthetic, they really didn't deal with this top floor, but it looks like they're going to now. And I think that's good. They've realized last time they didn't. They got picked apart on that bottom floor. That was a real issue for them, and they fixed it. They started dealing with it. But Slaughterhouse Bravo, this is what they want. They want you to get this study control. They want you to move with the statue trophy, and they want you to deal with the puzzle put in front of them. Now, the vertical play from Miku or Wubs is going to have a huge impact, but not as big as this down on Taboo and Turkey being taken down by Tones, finding that opening kill again. C4 will be detonated, but Freak, well, that's just a dinner bell. He's going to move through, look to try and find a kill. It's going to be Mohase going to be able to find it, though. This is fine. A good position to be at the round half for Synthetic. Slaughterhouse Bravo, however, this vertical play, it's gonna have to step up. It's gonna have to yield some results. A C4, it's gotta land true. Because right now, Synthetic, they have all the time in the world, all the map control in the world to just do whatever they want. Spiffy Poo, probably at most at risk from a C4 right now, but they're not really that worried. They say, well, we got a minute. Let's do our due diligence. Let's get all the vertical control so they don't know where we are.
A lot of remodeling is taking place. That ceiling that Slaughterhouse Bravo once had above them has been completely lost. Now, what do you do if you're Slaughterhouse? You have to start to make plays. And the same thing can be said for Synthetic. All right, great job on them for that vertical play, but they have to go and be prepared for their site execute. It looks like it's going to be a jukebox execute as Toads is already practically in the bomb site. He has his nose there. He takes on the gunfight against Slaughterhouse Bravo, but he misses every single one of that shots. Now Slaughterhouse Bravo knows that their bomb site's completely compromised. There's a Mossberg shotgun in hand. The frag grenade's pin was pulled. It detonates in Wub's face, but still, it is being occupied and held aggressively by Slaughterhouse. This is great positioning from them, and Wubs is going to make it even better, pushing all the way out to that door frame. It's ring around the rosy for Synthetic. They still out-frag the gunfights, though, and Slaughterhouse now falls up to round 11. That's the victory for Synthetic. We move over round 12. We're so close to match point. Synthetic tying up this series, but they have to seal the deal here in round 12.
Yeah, one thing I really want to point out, though, is Tones. Tones has really stepped up to fill a role that Synthetic have been lacking for most of their attacking half. That's that spearhead. That's that entry. The player not afraid to get in and get a kill or die. Because it feels like Synthetic, they're all able to frag. They're all able to really pop off and have a huge presence in the field. But Tones is the only person actually putting themselves forward, finding those first two kills in study in the last round, and then actually in this round as well, just pushing through, finding that opening frag, giving the team opportunities. That's the important thing. That's what Tones has been doing, and has been just finding time and time again something for your team. Returning to Aviator games though, Slaughterhouse Bravo, they've realized that this is the crunch time. This is when you've really got to step up or shut up. Synthetic, they brought it back from 6-4. They picked up a couple of rounds of momentum pretty much in their favor now. If they keep up an aggressive play, you can see this go into overtime, which you predicted before, Mr. Chief, because you know the team's better than I. Simple to say. But if Slaughterhouse Bravo are able to just knuckle down and shut down this aggression at the source, find Tones in that opening kill, maybe just be ready for this late round push. I feel like there's a lot of potential. I feel like Slaughterhouse Bravo can close it out, but it's 100% reliant on them to do it. Synthetic, right now, they're set to win this round, in my humble opinion, Chief.
So, pardon me on this quick tangent, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
I have a theory on the site rotation for Slaughterhouse Bravo. Again, looking at CGG, that's an incredible shot by Wubs. But if you look at CGG, the worst bomb sites, excluding library, are trophy, into kitchen, and then into planes and games. That's the exact site rotation of Slaughterhouse Bravo. If we go to round 12, which I would have guaranteed at the start of this game, I actually guaranteed overtime round 15, you would actually want your site rotation when you go to the most important round, round 12, to be your best bomb site. Here we are in round 12. Slaughterhouse Bravo is having a Planes and Games defense. It's a crucial round for them. They have to win it. And well, if you're going to win a bomb site, Planes and Games is your bomb site to win. It can't be a coincidence that we're seeing it here in round 12 and that Slaughterhouse Bravo has the man advantage going into that 100-second mark.
Yes, while they have a very comfortable trophy statue and a comfortable kitchen dining setup, this is where they've won most, and this is where they're finding frags. Miku able to find poison, Mohese gonna fall to Doc, and suddenly Tones is all on his own. I said that this player was the standout player for Synthetic in the last couple of rounds, but, well, Doc has just decided he's not gonna have any more impact. Slaughterhouse Bravo will win 7-5. Close, but no cigar on your prediction, Chief.
I mean, I think I said I'd feel robbed and heartbroken if I didn't see that round 15, because two phenomenal rosters. You know what? I can't be mad, though, that we ended up in max regular play up to round 12. It's exactly what I wanted to see. Two phenomenal rosters who are considered some of the best teams here in UPL going the distance, battling it out. And honestly, Synthetic played incredibly. Slaughterhouse Bravo played incredibly. We also talked about how this felt like a grand final. I feel kind of robbed that it's a best of one. It ends just with one team playing 12 rounds. Like, it should be something that goes a little bit longer. And honestly, this is not the last time we see these two rosters do battle. We saw it in a completely different amateur league. We saw it here today. And I promise both in that other amateur league as well as here at UPL, we're going to see both of these rosters battled out at best of threes, maybe going to a best of 5 in that grand final. All I have to say, though, is Synthetic sadly didn't get to close out the regular series or season play with a 5-0. They finish at a 4-1, and both of them have confirmed their playoffs.
Yes, and with doing that, they've confirmed a chance at a rematch, actually. Synthetic, by not winning it, well, means Slaughterhouse Bravo. They've locked in their spot for the playoffs, and now there's a chance that whether the bracket thing gods bless us, we either see them early on or we see them at the end, you know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping we see a rematch because, like you said, feels kind of robbed that it's a best of one. I want to see this best of 3. I want to see it go all the way, Chief. But that's not happening tonight, unfortunately.
It could happen tonight. I mean, if I was, dictator of UPL, we can just have the grand final here and now and say it's Slaughterhouse versus Synthetic, get them back in. Oh, but our producer says there's other esports titles that are taking place tonight on this main channel. So we all know Siege is way better than everything else, but we're going to be booted off this channel for, I believe it is League of Legends on this evening. So make sure you tune in for that, absorb a brand new esports title. But McCready and myself, we are stepping away for this evening. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.